just enough sales that we need to this month. We're still short, which I'll talk more about in a minute. Oh my word, man on bike has just arrived on the pitch.
This video is sponsored by Vehicle Score. Vehicle Score is a free vehicle checking service which you can visit by going to vehiclescore.co.uk. Simply type in a registration number and you will get a unique score to your vehicle. You can compare your score to the average in Vehicle Score's database. It's full of free useful information such as a mileage tracker history. It gives you a comprehensive breakdown of your MOT history for things like advisories and also wear and tear items. It gives you performance data, an estimated valuation, an estimated lifespan of the vehicle compared to others like it. It's full of free useful information. Also as well, they also have their 2 new features, including the new car insurance tip section to help you save money on your next car insurance quote, and their new AI mechanic, which will help you if you have any issues with a car, trying to diagnose any faults or common issues you might be having with a particular vehicle. But it doesn't end there, because Vehicle Score also offer their paid checks. These checks start from less than a cup of coffee and will check to see things like if your vehicle has ever been involved in an accident, whether it's been written off by an insurance company to a Category N or a Category S. Maybe it's an unrecorded write-off, so it's gone for a salvage auction and you weren't aware of it. It'll also check to see if your vehicle's ever been imported or exported, ever been used as a taxi, has outstanding finance, and all this information is assured with their £10,000 data guarantee. The paid checks are some of the most comprehensive priced out there, and it gets better because you guys get a discount. Simply use the promo code CARUK20 to get 20% off any of those paid checks. But remember guys, the basic service is completely free and it's constantly evolving. So make sure you download the Vehicle Score app, get yourself over to vehiclescore.co.uk and give them a try.
Morning all, welcome back to Car UK and to here at the car pitch in Cheshire. So, how has the last week so been? We did an update actually only a few days ago, and that was from the back end of last week. So, thought I'd do another one now just to give you a bit of more context about how things have really been. Because to be honest with you, they've not been great. I'll start off on the sales front, because that's really where the main issue lies. It's been pretty slow, July. I was hoping for a little bit of momentum going in July before we get to the 6 weeks holidays. It looked like that would be the case. We got a few sales under a belt, but since then it's been, well, to be honest, for the first week or so it's been, other than that, rubbish, absolutely rubbish. We went for a phase of about 10 days where effectively we didn't sell a car. We had stuff going out still, we'd sold, so we were busy, and obviously we had cars coming in which were prepping. I mean, the yard's full, we'll look at that in a minute. But I just didn't manage to get any sales under the belt, and it was really concerning me because it's just gone immensely quiet. And it's not just me. I mean, a lot of the trade has been quiet for months. I think we've just had a little bit of a bounce because, one, the nature of the vehicles we're selling is a bit cheaper than the rest of the stock that, you know, most dealers sell, so we've got a little bit of advantage because that's been a decent market for a while now. We've got a good footfall area, and obviously we've got people who buy off the channel as well. So we've still got a little bit of an edge maybe where we're still getting a few sales and maybe others are maybe struggling. However, even we are now pretty much quiet. We did have a little bit of a stay of execution midweek where obviously it's been quiet all week, and on Thursday, strange day as well, because Thursday you usually get a few people on, but it's not a good day for sales. We managed to get 2 sold, and then nearly a third, which I'm hoping they come back today and buy a car. We'll see. But other than that, say prior to that week and a half, it's been rubbish. So hardly anyone on, no visits at all really, not many inquiries. Saying the holidays have now pretty much kicked in. I don't think it's going to get much better, to be honest, over the next few weeks. We've really got to knuckle down, get back on the advertising, get more cars sort of out there, publicising, just all we can do on that side front to try and drive in some more sales. We certainly don't need any more stock. I'm not saying I won't go and buy a few bits, but I wouldn't be looking to sort of go out en masse now. We don't need to be going buying 4, 5, 6, 7 cars. We've got a lot here, and also we've got a lot of stuff that we just need to get, you know, out of the corners and fixed and get our money back in, whether it's just trying to get them back in to, you know, recover the money and move it into something else, invest it into something else, or actually stuff that actually really is decent, just wants doing and fixing and retailing. So I think that's going to be the main focus now for the rest of July. Anyway, I'm going to go show you around because I've had a few bits and bobs that have come in. So anyway, let's get ourselves out on the front. Right, well, I'm nosy around. We haven't got much sales stuff to look at, I'm afraid. Sold cars. We've got, well, 1 or 2 maybe. I'll show you briefly. But like I say, it's been quiet, so we're not much really to go on there. We'll start with a lot of stuff that we've been buying and bringing in, because we have bought quite a lot, and the yard is really full. And obviously, I've got lots of cars off site as well. So we do need to start getting some more on sale, which they always say every week. But I think with this quiet spell we've been having, we probably will managed to get some vehicles, a lot more on sale over the next 2 weeks, get a couple of rows going, which will be the first time since we've been here actually, since August last year, that we'll be able to do that, where we might have enough time to sort of get an on sale, and because we're not selling as many as we're sort of putting on sale, we might actually get into a positive figure of somewhere above sort of 12 or 13, which is what we sort of managed to get up to, and then you sell 4 or 5 and you're back to square one. Anyway, purchases wise, we've been buying a little Renault Megane. This comes from Aston Barclay. I don't think you've seen it before. Very cheap car, 1.6 petrol, Renault Megane. We like these. Renault's got a lot of slate, but to be honest with you, the Megane's net wrong with them, to be honest. They're good cars, very cheap offer, good decent value for money. We've had a few on here, they've always sold. This one was cheap because it needs a back bumper painting. Now, like I said, I've not been buying much stuff in these paint at the moment. However, unless it's really cheap, to the point where it's just not, it's not within me to sort of hold back and not buy it. This was very cheap. It was only about 500 odd quid plus some fees. It wasn't a dear car. I think it was less than £600 out the door from Aston Barclay. Like I said, it does need the bumper painting. I'd rather have just paid 800 quid for it and it been split mint and go on sale, because we've got a lot of paint on at the moment. But at that sort of level, I'm not going to complain. I'm saying it was cheap enough, and it will just get queued up and eventually will go to paint. The back bumper's knackered, as you can see. It's all sort of paling on the top there, so it wants completely respraying. It's got some very strange sort of someone's painted white aerosol over the bottom bar for the bumper trim. I have no idea why they've done that. It seems rather bizarre, but there we go. So that wants re-blacking, so we'll get that done as well. But other than that, it's actually quite a clean car. 1.6 petrol, so they just offer decent value for money. The sort of cars you can put up for 22, 23.95. They're considerably cheaper than the rivals, sort of Astras and Astra J's and Focuses of that sort of ilk, and they're usually a little bit more better specced. So they drive really nice. They don't give too many problems. It's usually silly things on Renaults like wipers or not working, or windows playing up. It's never really sort of catastrophic problems like engine problems and stuff. The 1.6 petrol in these are quite decent, to be fair, and the diesel 1.5 isn't a bad engine either. So we don't mind the old Renault Megane. Now, other things we've been buying, moving past here, hang on, I'll show you this Corsa. This was one that I got very cheap off a friend of mine actually, who I've went to school with, and he came in, offered me the car up. He'd bought a new car from another local garage, a bit more expensive than what I sell, and he had this in Part X. They offered him a very silly amount of money for it. I offered him a bit more than that, about 3-4 times what they offered him, because they only offered about 100 quid. And here it is. It's a 13 plate Corsa. Already, when I say I paid less than £500 for it, it does sound extremely cheap. However, it did have a catastrophic problem with it. We first thought it might be a chain, but it sounded a bit more severe than that. It was really, it sounded really sort of top-endy, so we had to have it stripped down. It basically had an oil problem. What had happened is it not long had a chain on it by someone of a garage, and it's just been basically had a slap-dap sort of approach where a chain's been thrown on, the sump's not been taken off properly, they've not got all the debris out, and one of the oil galleys was basically blocked up with bits of guide from the original timing chain that was replaced. The guides, the actual plastic guides, so we had to have all that sort of swept out of it. The hydraulic lifters then got short of oil. That caused a problem, so I had to have 16 hydraulic lifters put in it, because about 10 of them were knackered, so just changed a lot. But anyway, got it up and running, and it's now sweet as a nut again. So we managed to sort of rebuild that one. So really pleased with that. So I spent a little bit of money on it, because the hydraulic lifters are quite expensive alone, and obviously a few other bits and bobs were needed. But it's up and running now. Does need a few other little bits and bobs, engine mounts, stuff like that. But a risky car with high reward. It's probably going to be a 26.95, 27.95 car. Got about 90,000 miles on a 13 with history. Velado, I bought it off my friend. He'd had it for 10 years, so I know it's where it's come from, and obviously it was looking after it until very recently. And I think really because the chain went a bit sort of went funny on him, and he had it done, and then it started playing up again. I think he just basically decided it was time to get it gone. And the way it sounded when he brought it in, obviously it was horrendous. I should have filmed it really, but it did sound like a little 1.3 diesel, which is not great. Anyway, it's up and running, it's fine. We're going to get it finished off on Monday. Obviously I've just turned it around now in case we get anyone in today, because we have got a couple of Corsas now on sale. Actually, we've got one Corsa on sale, one we've sold to show you in a sec, and this one as well. So yeah, good sellers Corsas, and at the moment probably one of the few cars that we're still getting a bit of interest in this really quiet time. Moving on, other Corsa we've sold is this one. This is one from Aston Barclay. Sorry, this wasn't from Aston Barclay, apologies. It was from G3. We bought this with the two Astras. Two Astras are also here as well. The red one is there, which I'm going to trade on. I'm not going to retail that one. And I've got the 13 plate, the other one over there, the 141, which is now on sale. although it is in need of a number plate, but we'll come and have a look at that in a minute. This is the Corsa. Remember this one, category N Corsa. Wasn't bad value, to be fair. I wouldn't say it was cheap, but it was okay. So we've got that back now. We've just got to do a few little bits to it, but the main things we've done now, we've got it sorted underneath. It had a problem with what it had doing on it. Rear shockers replacing, we've done that. It's down for disc and pads. It had a horrible noise when you started it up, a little bit of a whining noise, which turned out to be the water pump was noisy. We've changed that, we've changed the belt tensioner, the auxiliary belt, stuff like that. All the housings, the usual stuff we do. We did all them as well. So yeah, we're pretty much there now. Just a little bit of fettling now to do on the front. Look, grills and stuff, want just sort of fixing up on it. But we have got a name down on it. We've got a guy, subscriber, who has bought it for his son. Hasn't been valid or anything, it's literally how it was when it come from the auction. Done 86 thou, we've done a deal on it at 23.50, which is decent enough, I think. Obviously these would probably be sort of 26.95 territory, like that one there, to be honest. Same sort of year-ish, when they're near enough, similar miles. But obviously with that category marker on it, you know, you're knocking a little bit of discount off it, because you can't charge the same amount for a car that's on the register that's not on the register. But it fits in his budget, because he's only got a set amount, and I said he's managed to get it in budget now for that price range. That's good. So that is a sale we've managed to bag. Another sale we did manage to bag, which is not here anymore, the car is, but you've seen it before, and I'll put you a picture of it here, was the Hyundai iX20. I mentioned this in my last video, that we had pretty much no interest in it since it went on sale, which is odd, because the iX20s and the Vengers are really good sellers, and we don't usually have them in stock very long, and we usually get interest on them immediately. Now, that one said 2 weeks, not a dicky bird on it. The odd people looking at it, but nothing, you know, firm. And then out of nowhere, we get a couple of people after it. We got a test drive on it. Then we had a guy come in who was interested in it. He went away, come back, and put a deposit down on it and bought it, you know, without any hesitation. And then we had a ruck of people ringing up asking to do test drives on it. Out of nowhere, it just went poof like that. So yeah, we could do with another one of those really. But he went out the door, 2995. Pleased with that. Drove lovely, nice margin in it. They say it didn't need any paint, which was good. I was on my arm about one bit of it to paint a bumper corner, but I just decided just to mop it up and basically just price it accordingly. Didn't make any sense to have it painted and then put more money on it. It come up all right in the end, so we just sold it as it was. It was a very presentable car. It drove very well and didn't give us any much issues really. I think it needed some shockers for the MOT. It hadn't done many miles since the last MOT either. It was say the guy had an MOT and stopped driving not long after. So it was one of those sort of situations. But there we go, sorted, out the door. So they're really the only two sales we've had this week. In fact, they are the only two sales we've had this week. Now, other interest we have had this week, which was, I'm hoping we were going to get a third sale on Thursday, because we sold those two, the Corsa over the phone and then the iX20 in person. And then we had a lady on who's been back into for about a week with a partner, lovely couple. And they were basically after a small car, and they went out and test drove the Panda and the 107. And now they've test driven both. They seem really interested, but they've gone away to think about it, which always, you always think, oh, there's a dealer. Well, they've gone away to think about it. It's probably lost a sale. But there's something about me that suggests that I think they'll come back and buy it, because they've been back twice. And they seem to be saying the right sort of things. I just think because it's the first car, they're just a little bit nervous about what makes sure we're not got the wrong decision. Obviously, they're two very different cars. One's a smaller iGo, well, 107, same thing, with very low miles, more money. The other one is a Panda, which has got a little bit more miles on, but obviously priced accordingly. It's about 2,800 quid. Very different vehicles. I think she's more leaning towards the Panda. He's more leaning towards the 107. Personally, I'll be honest, I go for the 107. That was my preference. If I was going to go for one of those two, though it is more money, obviously, but that doesn't make a difference to me because it's the same margin in both. But yeah, the 107 is probably going to be a bit more reliable a car if you're going to keep it for 3 or 4 years. I'm not saying the Panda's anything wrong with it. It drives lovely, but just be honest with people. It's a Fiat, and that one's a 107, and we know that the iGo 107 C1s are just really bulletproof. However, practicality's got to take into account. They've got children, and very small children, so both 4 doors, but the Panda is a bit more roomy, and I think that's what sort of the leaning towards, and it's a little bit cheaper. Maybe that has some bearing on it, who knows. But yeah, we'll see how we go with that one. I'm hoping we can get that sale on the bag this week, whether today or Monday, if it comes, or something like that, or on any other sale. Then it'll make it a okay week. Not on fire, still very quiet, and we'll just be scraping by. Astra, let me show you this Astra. Now this Astra is the 1.4 petrol Astra we had from G3. Nice old thing, drove really well, quite pleased with it. It's come up really well as well. couple of little bits and bobs I've got to try and buff out of it. It was covered in crap really, went for the auction, so it's not as mint as the first four, which has had a little bit of a bear on the price because I had 36.95 in my head. I've decided to go a bit less than that, 34.95. We have cleaned it up and it is now a very presentable car. I say it drives really well. It's a 1.4, which is quite rare because most of them were 1.6. I say it's not too mileage, we've done 80,000, got a bit of history of it. We're going to do all the bits and bobs we usually do to these, so like it's having a new stat housings and all them we do on the Astras. Going to change the coolant bottle as well because it's got a coolant sensor leveling problem. So it keeps saying on the dash when you start it that it needs coolant in it when there's nothing wrong with it, it's full. It's just the sensor in the bottle's knackered, which is common on these Vauxhalls. We're going to change that as well, got a new bottle for it. We're going to do that on Monday. But I've been out and driven it, actually used it for half a day, it drove lovely, so I can't fault it. There's a cheap alternative, and I got asked lately for a lot of Astras. People coming in going, have you got any Astras? Which is quite odd, because most people ask for Focuses, or Golfs and stuff like that. But I thought, sod it, when I come up with a couple on the auction, I thought, I'm going to buy one. At least one we can put a retail. I ended up buying two because you also bought the red one over there, which I'm not going to retail. I'm going to trade on, purely because it's I don't know, it's a bit higher mileage. I've already got one, and I've got another one lined up as well coming in Part X off another dealer who's taking in Part X. Sorry, so I don't really need the other one there as well. So that one's going to get traded on. I've already got someone lined up for that one. It's just a cheapy little quick couple £100, make a bit of profit, move it on type thing. This one's the good one I think of the two, so I'm going to keep this one. Like I said, it doesn't seem to be giving much hassle. Nice thing, it's an SRI spec, so you've got nice alloys on it, it's got bits and bobs inside, or your lecky windows, your climate, your cruise, all that, all the stuff you want on a little family car. Quickly mention the Merc. I keep getting asked about this one, the C180 petrol. Briefly, bought this from a dealer in part exchange, he took it in, too old for them. It's a 55,000 miles, I think it's done. And it's a nice thing on 11 plates, 1.8 petrol turbo model, which is quite rare because the early ones were supercharged. And it's a nice old thing. And I did actually sell this to a trader, or supposed trader, who basically reneged on the deal afterwards. So as soon as I got it all sorted for him, he started turning into a customer asking for silly things. Has it got a warranty? Has it got this? And you're sort of thinking, hang on a minute, why are you asking me all these things? Why are you expecting to have the same rights that a customer would get when you've told me you're buying it trading, you're a trader? And he just basically was just full of shit, basically. That's the reality. And so yeah, it backfired on me, that one did, which I'm not that bothered about because in the end it's worth more money, me retailing it, and I was a little bit peeved that I'd done the deal in the first place. Holding the corner here, what's been going on? Not a lot really. My Maserati Ghibli's moved, took that to a relative's house just to get it out of the way for a minute until I can get it sorted. I need to service it, it's due another service, and then it needs going up for sale. I need to do a video on it and then put it up for sale, so I'm going to do that soon. So I've got, that's why that's not here. Also yellow Fiat, not moved, although I need to scrap that. I just need to scrap that damn thing. In fact, really what I need to scrap is that yellow Fiat over there, and also the Corsa in the corner, which is our parts car, which has pretty much been rifled for bits now. There's not much of anything, any use on that anymore, and it's now full of scrap as well, so maybe I need to get them scrapped off next week and yeah, see how we go with that, get a bit of space back. Obviously if I scrap the yellow Fiat, I will definitely do a video on it, because it's be a very sad departing to see the yellow Fiat go. Yeah, it's been a bit of a staple on the channel, the old yellow Fiat 500, which is basically absolutely crippled me when I bought it, and I've been spending my last few months now since I bought it trying to rifle it for bits for other ones, and I've probably recouped about £8.50 back out of it. Never mind. Other than that, really, what else has been going on in here? Let's have a look inside the workshop. This old Kia Sportage is still hogging up the ramp and causing us lots of issues and problems. And I've also got this little swapper in here as well, 207, which I'm not going to retail. It's a 207 petrol automatic with big miles on. It's not good enough to retail, and we've had to basically just get it through an MOT and just trade it on. I'm not going to retail that, to be honest with you, because it's just a bit ropey, to be honest with you. We've sort of managed to get it through an MOT, but it's not good enough to retail. There'll be plenty of other dealers who probably will have a go at trying to do that, but you just know when you get one of these cars thinking you will keep spending money on that whoever buys it, and I don't want to sell that to someone in that state, even though it is an auto, which is a shame. But they've just not got much faith in it, so I'd rather just get it for a ticket, get it right, legal, and then whatever else someone else wants to do with it, that's their problem. Right, Sportage, have any update on that? Yes, we have. Turbochargers arrived actually yesterday afternoon for this, so we finally can get the turbo built back up on it. Still got to strip all the intercooler pipes out because it's been leaking. It's not been leaking loads of oil, but it has leaked oil. You know, it definitely had oil leaking from the back of the turbo, and there was oil in the pipe work as well. So we need to get that off, clean it out, probably get the sump off, check all that, and then put it back up and put the turbo on. And then finally, this week, the plan is, hopefully the next video, that will not be on the ramp. That will be off, and we can get the ramp back because we've been a bit restricted having that on the ramp, and it has slowed us up. But it needs doing because I say I've got someone lined up for this. Without long story short, it's one of these deals where I've had to sort of do someone a favour who showed interest in it, and anyway, it is what it is. So it has got a name down on it to be sold, but obviously I can't commit to sell it to them and, you know, formally and all that and etc. until we've got it running, because it come in as not a non-runner. It actually, engine was working fine. It didn't drive, so it had a clutch problem, which we've mentioned before on the channel, and then we noticed the turbo was leaking as well, oil. That wasn't smoking though, the engine was fine, you rev it up, no issue. But obviously we're going to do it while it's on the ramp and it's assembled. I'm not going to take it off and then drive it and then put it back on again and do all the turbo, just get it all done in one hit. And it doesn't owe us a great deal of money, we haven't nicked it, we've paid a fair bit for it, but we paid the sort of money you would pay for a car that's effectively not running, potentially had a gearbox issue. It's actually turned out to be the clutch in the end, although until we drive it we can't eradicate the gearbox being faulty. I'm hoping it isn't, but if it needs a gearbox, you'll have to come back in and we'll have to put a gearbox in it. It's one of those. And then we've got to do the wheels. They need refurbing. They're going to go off this week. We're going to get them done, get them painted, and a few little bits of paint. So yeah, I'll be glad when that comes off. There's money in that. Obviously I've got an idea what I want for it, what I'm going to sell it for. Fingers crossed that everything it works well on it, but assuming that is the case and we get it running right, we will get a decent reward out of it for a lot of work, I might add. It'd be a nice one for the end of the month. That could be the difference for us, really sort of having basically breaking even this month if we manage to get that one out of the door, and we manage to get just enough sales that we need to this month. We're still short, which I'll talk more about in a minute. Oh my word, man on bike has just arrived on the pitch. What do I do?
Oh, right. Later on in the day, guys, didn't manage to carry on with the filming. I was a little bit busy trying to get paperwork sorted and stuff like that. And we did have a few people on. So this Saturday roundup, not been terrible. I mean, we had people on. We nearly got 2 cars away. We managed in the end to sell one, the Corsa. So the 1 litre Corsa, Sting in the corner. We managed to sell that. Kai's come on, wants it for his son. They've already got one for their other son. Now the other son started driving, so they bought that one, which is decent money in that one for us. Although we have done a lot of work to it, had chains on it and all sorts. So we've earned a crust out of that one, and it's a decent car. I mean, it's very rare we get the 1 litres. I think that's probably the second one we've had since we've been here. Most of them are usually 1.2s. So we had people asking about it. I actually had 2 people chose to come down today. One rang and said they're coming Monday, changed their mind, and they had stuff to do, and the other one didn't turn up, and then this guy came and bought it. So good news on that. I'm pleased with that because we had needed that one, to be fair. We could have done another one today as well. Had someone on the Volvo C30. It was one of those weird situations where the man and wife, I assume it's man and wife, the wife wants the car, the husband is trying to get her to buy an i20. There was a bit of a clash there. I think if the wife had came around, she probably would have bought the car, but there we go. We'll see. You never know, they might come back on Monday. Obviously, the thing that everyone's wanted to know straight away is, Lee, what happened with Man on Bike? Did he buy a car? Well, no, because he didn't buy a car. Because as we know, Man on Bike doesn't buy a car unless it's for his wife. He wasn't buying for his wife. He was just basically just messing us about as they usually do, Man on Bike. You never know now, because obviously I put out on social media obviously these videos and talk about Man on Bike. You might get someone who actually knows who I am coming in and just pissing about on a bike. You just don't know anymore. But he just came in and didn't know what he wanted and started asking to open boots, and then sort of got on his bike and biddled off. So there we go. No, Man on Bike did not buy a car. Would you believe it? Anyway, so let me talk to you quickly about the situation with how quiet it is. It is super quiet, and it has been for months. We've been really lucky because, like I mentioned before, just because we've had the ability through social media like this. We're dealing in the type of cheaper end of the market, where the market's been pretty decent. We're in an area where there's a lot of demand for budget vehicles. Not many other garages around here supply budget vehicles, so we've got a bit of a corner really on this one, and we've done all right out of it since we've been here. But the last few months have been tough. We had a rubbish May.
That's when it really started. June picked up actually, and to be fair, had I not gone away towards the end of June and maybe some holidays in between as well, staff off and stuff, we might have got a couple more sales under the belt. Not blaming the staff, but it's a collective situation. But yeah, we might have got a few more sold, and probably I would have said June was actually all right. But you could see we were really trying to get the sales on there, and we didn't have the margins that we used to get out of them. That's probably just more to do with the cars we picked. We just generally just had a bad run of cars we were getting margins out of. And then July started off pretty much the same as June. We thought, okay, fine, fair enough. I'll take that in July because it is 6 weeks holiday starting. And it lasted about a week, 10 days, and then it just dropped off a cliff. Last 10 days have been awful. And we got another 10, 12 days to go. So, not great. Yeah, we've done about 4 cars in the last 10 days, and one of them was today. So we were 3 cars this morning. So it's not great. We should be on, I need about 15 a month. If I do 15 a month, roughly, I've made a modest profit, and it is modest. And if you get more than that, then great. But it can vary because literally you could have 15 cars and you get 600, 700, 800 quid profit out of them. You could have 12 cars 1 month and you've had a 1,500 quid profit out of them each. That's never happened, by the way. But you see what I mean? You get different months, different margins, different cars. It can vary. But if you roughly sell 15, take an average, we're all right. That's what basically we try and work for. Say we're not going to be pulling trees up here and selling 40 cars a month. It's not going to happen because of the nature of how small we are and stuff like that. You just can't do it. And also we've got to prep these cars properly. And I'm not just going to throw out any old crap. Now, as we stand now, I'm on, what are we on? Just got the old board here. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 that have gone out, and then 3 that, 3 that need to go out as well. So we're on 10, effectively. We'll definitely get 10 out this month. Although one of them is a Sportage, and that we might get that out this month, but it's probably unlikely, because we've got to get it up and running, as we mentioned before, which we should do by Monday, Tuesday. And then we can hopefully, fingers crossed, assuming the gearbox is all right, that's worrying me. But assuming that's all right, then we can get that in painted, wheels done. We might get that out this month. So 10, hopefully. Sportage will get us out of the Bavarial because that's good margin in that one. But my God, we're doing a lot of work to that car. So if we can get another 5, we're all right. But I just don't see where 5 sales are coming from in the next sort of 10, 12 days. Usually I wouldn't even be worried about that. I'd think, no, we'd piss 5 or 6 sales in 10, 12 days. We've been doing that since we've been here. But not at the moment. It's just there's no interest at all. There's literally, we're not getting the same footfall going past. No inquiries really of any significance. And even the social media side has gone down a bit as well. It's gone a bit quiet. People asking about vehicles. It's just not the same intensity. We're not getting the people walking on locally because probably about 70% of the business is local. Maybe 60, 70% roughly is local. It seems to be growing, the subscriber side of it, but I'd say predominantly still majority locally. And even they're not coming on. We usually would get a dozen people on a Saturday, easy, a dozen. We've had 3 or 4 today. 1 bought. 2 could have, but yeah. So there we go. It's quiet. I'd say the trade's been quiet for months. Lots of traders I speak to are in the same boat. They're saying how bad it is. And like I said, we've got that advantage and even we're struggling. So I don't think it's going to get any better with the school holidays. It's either businesses I've ever been in, whether it was running a car auction, whether it was running a garage, whether it was now in full-time sales, although I've done some sales before. It was always like this. And it's just, I don't know why it seems to come as a shock to us all, but it does. Anyway, we'll see how we go in my next video. Plan for next week, get rid of some vehicles, that needs to go. 3 or 4 cars, as in, scruffing, scrapping or getting rid of. The stuff in the corner, just rubbish, needs to go. Yellow Fiat, he's on the agenda. He's hit list, he's target number 1. But we can get a few of them gone, try and get some trade vehicles up and running and gone. I need to make some space because we've just ram-packed. And I don't need to go to the auctions, sadly. I don't need to be buying. I just do not need to be buying anything at the moment. I've got enough here, so unless I get offered some stuff that's too cheap to resist, I don't need to go start looking for vehicles yet. Doesn't mean I won't go to the auctions. I might go in I could go in the auctions anyway, even if I don't buy anything, and we'll do a bit of filming. Might go to a van sale. Not been a van sale in a while, or maybe a prestige sale. We haven't done one of those, so we'll do something like that. So don't worry, there'll be auction content coming over the next few weeks, and I've already got some auction content I've filmed the other week as well, so I'll be putting that out over the next few weeks. So don't worry about that. I know you enjoy the auction stuff. But as soon as we actually start getting some more sales under the belt and maybe clear some stuff out there, as soon as we do that, as soon as we can actually start going and buying again as well. So we'll see how we get on. Anyway, I think I've held you up long enough. I will get myself off home. Thank you for watching this video, guys. If you haven't watched already, please like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all in the next one.